Hi, church family. Today we're looking at Psalm 95, so let's read it first together. O come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth. The heights of the mountains are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as at Meribah, as on the day at Massah in the wilderness, when your fathers put me to the test and put me to the proof, though they had seen my work. For 40 years I loathed that generation, and said, They are a people who go astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Therefore I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. Now, as we go through this psalm, it's really helpful to actively remember the story of ancient Israel wandering in the desert. It helps this psalm come to life. It gives us context for it and helps us understand that this psalm isn't just for ancient Israel, but it's for us also. So let's look at it together. This psalm starts with an invitation to worship. Now, how are we to worship? We are to sing. We are to make a joyful noise with thanksgiving, with songs of praise. So we are to worship. And who are we to worship? The rock of our salvation. Remember how God saved Israel from dying of thirst in the desert by bringing water from a rock? Remember how God made his dwelling place with them in the tabernacle, a place where they encountered God's presence and saw his glory in the cloud that rested above the tabernacle? Who are we worshiping? A great God, a great King above all gods. Now, how do we see his greatness, and how do we see the extent of his reign and rule? When we see it, he is over the depths of the earth. The heights of the mountains are his. Remember Mount Sinai and how Israel encountered God's greatness there, and the thunder and the lightning, and how the very mountain trembled as God came down to meet with his people? And the sea is his. Remember how God parted the waters of the Red Sea so that Israel could make it safely to the other side. And he formed the dry land. So who are we worshiping? The great creator God, the King whose glory and greatness were seen by the people of Israel. Then we have a second section that again begins with an invitation to worship. We are to worship how? We are to bow down. We are to kneel before the Lord. Who? Our Maker and our God. This great creator God is not just the creator of the mountains and the seas. He is ours. He is our Maker and our God, and we belong to him. We are his people and we are his sheep. And then we move into a warning. It continues the story of ancient Israel. Remember, not all of Israel got into the promised land. Many hardened their hearts and did not believe in God, though they had seen signs and wonders, and God had shown them his greatness over and over at the Red Sea, at Mount Sinai, and his presence with them. And in the story of ancient Israel, what does it mean for us? It shows us how easy it is to forget God's goodness and how easy it is to harden our hearts. Even though Israel had seen all these signs and wonders, they still managed to not believe. One commentator says about this passage, there can be no rest to an unbelieving heart. If manna and miracles couldn't satisfy Israel, neither would they have been content with a land which flowed with milk and honey. So what can help us avoid this same danger of forgetfulness and unbelief that Israel had? Well, we look at the psalm and we do what it tells us to do. We worship. We celebrate and remember who God is and all that he's done for ancient Israel and for us. We come with songs and singing and thankfulness and joy to Israel's God, who is also our God. And there at the end, even in the midst of the warning, there is hope, because God's rest truly exists. There really is rest coming for those who believe. So Psalm 95. Let us sing songs of praise and worship to our great God. Let's not harden our hearts, but worship him for who he is and all he's done for us, trusting that just as he brought ancient Israel into the promised land, he will carry us to the true eternal rest he has for those who believe.